Hello and welcome to News18 Global with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Our top story, Twitter's cash flow is still negative, ladies and gentlemen, amid a 50% drop in ad revenue and a heavy loan debt. This has gone against Elon Musk's expectations in March that Twitter could be cash flow positive by June. However, Musk is still hopeful that July will be a bit more promising. This is the latest sign that the aggressive cost-cutting measures since Musk acquired Twitter in October are not enough to get positive cash flows. After firing thousands of employees and cutting cloud service bills, Musk said the company had to reduce its non-debt expenditures to $1.5 billion from a projected $4.5 billion in 2023. Twitter also faces annual interest payments of about $1.5 billion as a result of the debt it took on in the $44 billion deal.
More woes for Twitter as owner Elon Musk says the company has lost half of its ad revenue. That, combined with a heavy debt load, mean Twitter's cash flow remains negative. Musk bought the social media platform for $44 billion in October and proceeded to go on a cost-cutting spree, laying off thousands of employees and cutting cloud service bills. Musk said back in March he expected Twitter to reach cash flow positive by June. But on Sunday, he acknowledged that hadn't happened, adding that, quote, July is a bit more promising. It is unclear what time frame Musk was referring to by the 50% drop in ad revenue. But since he took over, Twitter has been criticised for lax content moderation, leading to an exodus of many advertisers who did not want their ads appearing next to inappropriate content. Musk's hiring of Linda Yaccarino, the former head of advertising at NBC Universal, signalled that ad sales remain a priority for the site. Yaccarino started work as CEO in early June and has told investors the site plans to focus on video, creator and commerce partnerships. It is said to be in early talks with political and entertainment figures, payment services and news and media publishers.
And I'm joined by Jitin Jain on the broadcast, cyber expert. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Jain. How do you see this trouble that Twitter is facing? Do you see this as temporary financial trouble?
No, it should have not happened. I think the whole problem is caused by this erratic decision making by Mr. Elon Musk. I mean, be it the Twitter Blue services, be it, sea of changes he bought into the Twitter Blue verification program. First, taking away the blue ticks of celebrities and public figures, then introducing blue ticks without any stringent verification mechanism, then fighting misinformation, then bringing it a corporate verification mechanism. I think instead of a very well thought of, well researched policy, he has been making decisions of the night and then removing it by the day. So I think the whole problem, which is caused by this erratic decision making, has some way down the line eroded the trust of advisors in the Twitter. They think that today Twitter might become a platform of spreading misinformation because of the absence of verification program, because it's giving verification, a paid verification, just on the basis of an email ID and phone number, without actually verifying the credence or credibility of the person who is being verified. I think somewhere down the line, advertisers believe that Twitter may be a football field of a free flow of misinformation, and that erosion of trust is leading to a drastic drop in the revenues. Second, I think because Twitter has now been seen as politically more neutral, the left-leaning advertisers who are more comfortable with a Democratic Party and a leftist ideology are in a way trying to pressurize Twitter. People who are more advertisers who are more aligned with Apple and Google are also targeting Elon Musk because he picked up fights with both Apple and Google in the very early days of taking over Twitter. So I think the best way for Elon Musk is to stabilize Twitter, stabilize the code, and I think move away from the decision-making process, hand it over to a professional decision-making board or the new CEO he's appointed. And I think he should stop announcing Twitter policies on his own Twitter account. Let the company speak for itself. I think restoring the confidence among advertisers, I think, is a key here to see if this revenue losses are temporary or they're going to stay. But I don't anyway see that they are happening because of threats or any other competitive platform. I think it is Twitter's own making.
Right, but at the same time, as you're pointing out, Twitter is still a major platform at the end of the day when it comes to the digital public sphere. And Twitter CEO Linda Yaccarino has said that Twitter plans to focus on video, creator and commerce partnership. It is in early talks with political and entertainment entities, payment services, and news and media publishers. So do you see these big plans can immediately reverse Twitter's fortunes? Even the talks of such plans, can they reverse the fortunes? Or do you think it's a long road before Twitter can see those positive cash flows and change its entire financial dynamic?
I think Twitter is trying to become profitable, in a full 360-degree spectrum. They have fired almost 50% of workforce by cost cutting on the human resources. They are removing technological solutions which were available free earlier. For example, free SMS-based two-factor authentication was available for anyone. For security of their accounts, and it is being offered free by almost all platforms, be it Google, Facebook, Meta, or Microsoft or Yahoo. Twitter was the first one to remove that as a free service. They said only those who are subscribed to Twitter Blue will have that additional security mechanism for their Twitter accounts. Second, he also, in a way, is trying to monetize Twitter. He faced huge flack from people across board by offering Twitter Blue or Twitter Blue tick verification to anyone and everyone who were willing to pay. I think though he became the fall by of this, paid verification program, today Meta, Facebook, or Instagram, everybody is doing the same. Even Google is launching paid verification emails or headers for the corporate companies. So I think Elon bought the change. He became the flag, he took all the blame and flag for this decision making, but everybody is following that suit of, because they also realize that verification may be a revenue generating program. Second or third, see, if you carefully see, I think Twitter is trying to monetize the content itself. They have realized that they cannot no longer depend for the revenue on these big advertisers who can pressurize them, arm twist them anytime. They are trying to crowdsource the revenue generating program by telling the influencers and content that, look, if you create more content on Twitter, if you have more influence and visibility on Twitter, you will get a part of your revenue. YouTube has been doing that. YouTube creators today get some part of the revenue, but it is minuscule when it compared to the actual revenue which is generated by YouTube. I think Twitter has decided that they'll share a significant part of the revenue which is earned by the Twitter tweet videos or short videos, and that is where Linda is focusing. That if you can bring videos on Twitter, which is the most a place where people spend on their time with likely on Instagram, then probably they'll be able to monetize the content much more in a much faster way. I think, and the second thing you also have to look that I think 40% countries in the world around are going to face election in the next 360 days. I think Twitter being a political platform today, I think that is going to be the best time for them to create revenue out of political entities, parties out of political advertisement campaigns. So, and that is why I believe that since US elections and Indian elections are coming up next year, Twitter is much more hopeful to create a huge revenue jump in the times to come.
Right. So the promise to turn things around is there when it comes to Twitter's dynamic model. Also, my final question then, the rival apps like Threads now has 150 million users. How do you see this growth in other platforms in competition to Twitter?
Not at all. I think Threads is just an artificial number because they are just migrating. They're offering Threads as an additional feature to the people who are already using Instagram. So no one has to sign up, no one has to fill a form, no one has to do anything. You just press a button and you instantly add a thread also as a service if you're on Instagram. Second, also, say Twitter, the number of users following each other were genuine. People were actually following someone they wanted to. Today, you can say that whoever I am following on Instagram, I just want to follow them on Threads. Even if they're there on the platform or not, whenever they sign up, they come online automatically. Algorithm follows everyone. That never happened for Twitter. You never blindly followed anyone and everyone. So I think the whole projection and numbers of users of Threads by Meta is a bit more artificial. It is a bit more curated. I think there is just a reflection of what is there already on Meta. The actual comparison has to be in terms of the content which has been posted by users on Thread versus Twitter. And on that part, I see there is going to be a significant decline in the weeks to come on Thread because users are just using Thread as just an additional mirroring platform for their Instagram content. They are not actually using Threads as a social media platform of its own in an independent manner.
Right. So it's just a garb of microblogging. That's what you're saying. Thank you, Jitin Jain, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your perspective when it comes to the fortunes of Twitter. As you were pointing out, Twitter may be down, but it's not out. And Elon Musk is kind of leading the charge to make it more financially viable.